Hey guys, I know it's been a really long time since my last video, but I saw the SMT Fire Emblem trailer last night, and I really wanted to push something out. I'm super busy right now, so this video is not going to be too lengthy or too fancy, but I really wanted to get out there my ideas on what I think this game is going to be, why it's not what we thought it was going to be, and why it might actually still have some elements of what we thought it would be. First off, I want to say that I was definitely disappointed by what this game wasn't. We all thought it was going to be a straight up crossover game between the two series, and that's not what it is at all from what we saw. I think this is just simply because Nintendo didn't show us. They showed us too much of what the game wasn't ever going to be, because we were just shown some stock images of characters, and then we were just shown the beach from End of Ava with SMTX Fire Emblem. That was it. And Atlas producer Shinjiro Takada actually put out a statement, and the English is a little bad, but I'm quoting him on this. And he said, "This is a collaborative Fire Emblem project. We all wanted a more traditional Fire Emblem game, then it would have been best to have Intelligent Systems work on it. If we at Atlas are the ones who are going to be making this game, then we should be making something that plays up our strength." What that means is that it was never going to be a Shin Megami Tensei game in any way. It's just Atlas making a Fire Emblem game, but kind of putting the same kind of style they used for SMT on Fire Emblem. And I think what really happened was someone at Atlas told Nintendo before E3, "Hey, we're going to be making a Fire Emblem game. You should get some hype out for that." And then Nintendo was like, "Oh, that means that's a Shin Megami Tensei game with Fire Emblem, right?" And they were really like, "Sure." And then we got what we got, and everyone thought it was going to be mainline SMT, and a lot of people are really disappointed that that's not what it is. I understand that. A lot of people are really upset that it looks more like Persona than mainline SMT. Um, I can understand that, considering with how much Persona 4 has been overwhelming the SMT series lately. Um, I did want to talk about some stuff in here. A lot of the complaints I've heard is that it's going to look like it's going to be a school simulator, like 3 or 4. I really don't think that's the case. I've got a few reasons for this. One of them being that the background characters look identical to how background characters look in Persona Q. In Q, outside of finding items in dungeons and like a little bit of like scenario talking, there was no simulation elements whatsoever in Q. I think it's going to be like that again. I think if they were going to have a school simulator aspect to the game, they would have showed it in some context. And there's a lot of complaints that it's set in a high school, so it's going to be bad. It's going to be Persona. A lot of people don't consider Persona 1 and the Persona 2 duology to be Persona in the sense that 3 and 4 are Persona. Um, it's giving me more vibes from 1 and 2 than it is from 3 and 4. In fact, like, the very first game in the entire series started in a high school. I don't think that's a valid reason to be upset over something like that. I also wanted to say that there's a lot of other SMT games that have high school students. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to take place in the high school the whole game. Like Nocturne, you start out as a high school student. Same with Devil Survivor. Like I said, Persona 1 and 2. I'm sure there's other games in the series, like If. I also want to get around to the characters that were shown. We're shown about 4 main characters, I would assume. And I don't know a lot about Fire Emblem. I've only played Awakening and the 3 Game Boy Advance ones. I'm fairly certain the character in the center is definitely Marth, some kind of Marth character. The one on the right is probably either Roy or Elliewood. I'm leaning more towards Roy, so that's what I'm going to call him in this video. I think the one on the left is, I think her name is Keida. I don't know much about the original Fire Emblem games, and I have no idea who the girl on the left is. I really think that front character is Marth, mainly because Marth is the main representative of the series and always has been since Smash Brothers. Also why I think that's Roy, because they're both recognizable. It's also definitely Marth because in this screenshot you can actually see he has the brand on his face there. And that was in Awakening, where they basically said that all descendants of Marth had that brand, so it would make sense that he would have it as well, because that's the brand of the Exile. So that basically confirms that that's Marth. Tiki is also in the game, and that is absolutely confirmed because that looks exactly like Tiki, and it even shows her name here. I guess she's some kind of idol character. I don't really know how I feel about that. Um, Another thing that was interesting is they show some kind of song thing on the wall, and it says reincarnation. This is probably like way out there, but I think these guys, they might just be reincarnations of like long gone lords and stuff like that. It's kind of a long shot, but I don't know why they would throw that in there. Um, the characters basically have personas. They basically showed that. I think there's two steps to the persona ability that they have. I'm calling them personas, even though that's probably not what they actually are. But they themselves go through a transformation, but it's mostly like like a magical girl, magical boy type thing where they get a new outfit, but they don't really change themselves. But they also get some kind of like corporeal, physical persona. Like Roy has some kind of weird motorbike looking thing that has like a humanoid torso coming out of it. Um, this Kaeda character has some kind of Pegasus mount. Um, I thought that was interesting. I also think that while this is leaning way more toward Fire Emblem stuff, plot-wise, there are still a lot of Shin Megami Tensei elements in this, I think. One of them being that dungeon crawling is pretty much confirmed, like this screenshot. Um, you might be thinking, oh, this could mean this is just they're walking around doing a side quest or something, but they have their health bars up, and there's a building ahead that they're probably going to go into. And I think that there would be no reason for them to have their health bars up like that if it wasn't a dungeon. There's also no enemies on screen, which means it could be random encounter like it was in Shin Megami Tensei 3, 1, 2, Digital Devil Saga. Um, what else? It takes place in Tokyo, like a lot of SMT games. I know that's not saying much, but the battle system. This is really just I'm really just throwing ideas out here for the battle system, but it looks like it's turn-based, of course. Reminds me a little bit of Devil Survivor's battle system, in that I think it's you just input all your players' commands before the turn starts, and then it kind of just cycles through like that. I thought it was interesting how there's only one enemy that the characters seem to be fighting at any given time, and it's in a large circular Colosseum type area, which makes me think that dungeons might consist of mini bosses and final bosses that have areas like that. I think it might be interesting. Um, I also really think, in the SMT stuff, I'm positive that Tokyo is going to go to absolute shit pretty early in the game. Um, they even show a shot of a character overlooking a ruined Tokyo. It's like sinking into this red sand or something like that. And the camera actually tilts upwards, and we don't get a very good shot of it before it fades to black, but there's something up in this, some kind of structure up in the sky floating there. Which reminds me a little bit of the Eastern Kingdom of Mikado in 4, but I really can't say too much about that. Um, a lot of other games start off almost happy and normal, like most SMT games, 1, 3, Devil Survivor, really all the Persona games start off pretty normal, and then something happens and the setting goes to shit. I really think that's going to happen, and I also think that there's a possibility of a Doom timeline, and that's because of this character that was shown. This is definitely some kind of Crom character. This inferred just by looking at him. His outfit is almost the same as Crom's from Awakening. It would make sense for them to have a Awakening character in the game, especially since they're putting stuff from Awakening in this game, such as the brand on Marth's face. Super interesting though, because he has 2 falchions, which that gives me any of 3 theories. And it's also important to remember, if you haven't played Awakening, the falchion was a unique sword that's been passed down through generations, and the only way that 2 falchions existed in the same time is because someone with one time traveled back from the future, which would imply a Doom timeline, which is what Lucina did in Awakening. So my 3 theories is that one is that he is one of Marth's descendants who is from a doomed future, which would explain why everything is so tattered about him, maybe even possibly corrupted by that future, which is why he looks so creepy and has a glowing eye. But it would explain why he has 2 falchions. He has his own, and then he has some other falchion from the current timeline. Another thing is that the mirror world that they mentioned that it was let me find that quote real quick. Okay, I guess I don't have that quote. But it's a RPG set in contemporary Japan, but it says there's a group of realistic characters who find a hidden other world, like a mirror world. And I think the mirror world could be a Tokyo that's already doomed, which would exist as like a mirror to the regular one, which would maybe make that Marth's counterpart or something like that. And I even thought that maybe it's possible that shadows could exist in this game, similar to 2 and 4, and that it's possible that that is Crom's shadow who killed the regular Crom and took his falchion, which would explain why he carries it around on his waist like a trophy instead of using both of them. I don't think it's Marth's shadow because it looks way too similar to Crom to be that, and Marth has a very regal design to him in this game, which Crom has never had. Crom has more of a warrior aesthetic to him. I definitely don't think it's a persona because the other personas are very class-based, like the Pegasus, like whatever Roy has, that bike thing. It's too human looking. It's too human looking to be a persona, I think. I also think this is a really valid theory because branched timelines have appeared in several SMT games. Persona 2, SMT 4, Fire Emblem Awakening. I haven't played all the SMT games, but I know a lot of them do have time travel mechanics, as well as the entire Amala network in 3. I still don't entirely understand what that is, but from my understanding, it's just there's a whole bunch of different parallel universes where lots of things could be going on, and sometimes the worlds could bleed through, which I think in Nocturne has something to do with that one, I think her name was Aradia, that tried contacting, I can't remember her name either, the teacher character. But yeah, I really think this game is not at all what we thought it was going to be. I think it still has a lot of potential. I think it's way too early to make a final judgment that it has no SMT elements, because it's already been shown that it has elements from SMT that previously were not in Fire Emblem, seeing as how Fire Emblem uses maps and not, dungeons. That's mostly what I want to talk about here. This is a super early video. I don't know what the hell's going on out there. This is a super early video, and oh my god, excuse me. Super early video, way too early to understand completely what's going on. Too early to make any final judgments. They don't mention Shin Megami Tensei. The developers don't mention SMT at all in any interviews, not even by name. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's out for the count. Like, if you watch the Direct, if you learned anything, it means that unless they explicitly say that a character isn't coming back, there's still hope. Because we got fucking Lucas. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm super, super stoked about that. But, yeah. SMT Experiment looks really good. Ibun Roku Sharp Fire, Gene Ibun Roku Fire Emblem, which also reminds me of the original title to Persona, which is Revelations Persona. This is going to be really good, and I think, like I've said before, we shouldn't be making any final judgments about it, and we should just wait until we get more information and just hope it's good shit. If you found anything else in the trailer, talk about it in the comment section. Let me know if I got anything explicitly wrong or if there's anything I left out, and I'll try to address it if I get around to making another video. Thanks for watching.